6:52. We're rolling along here, the Capital City Recap, right here on 1320 WILS. I'm Michael Cohen. So couples getting divorced. We know, half of marriages end in divorce, but new studies show that being active on social media can dramatically increase your chances of breaking up. Let's find out why from Tim Hoch, family law expert, an attorney himself who deals, with divorce law. HochLawFirm.com is the website. Tim, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate being on.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are dramatic. The University of Texas did a study. They studied 1,200 married couples. They found that non-social media couples, 16% contemplated divorce. Those that were on social media, 32% thinking about divorce. Is it really that caustic to a marriage?
Well, it has been, and there's two reasons. First of all, you have the addiction to social media, right? And so that takes you away from whatever your obligations might be or duties might be to your spouse, and takes away your time and attention. So that's one aspect of social media that's really harmful to the marital state. But the other thing is, it gives you more opportunity to stray, right? I mean, It gives you other more people to meet, and you get interested, and that's what we see a lot more of.
When you're dealing with a divorce, is it common then that one of the spouses has already found somebody as it's happening?
Well, it may not be that they've actually found somebody, but they are sure looking, right? And if the opportunity presents itself, they're about to find somebody. Yeah. But yeah, more often than not, when they've come in, there's one or two reasons why they've come in. They're either arguing about they found somebody else, or they're upset about money. Now, those are the two things.
I'm guessing they probably try to conceal that if they're having an affair, right? Or do they tend to tell you that when they're your client?
Well, no, they'll tell me that. I mean, and I tell them, look, the very first thing you and I have to have, no matter what kind of relationship you have with your spouse, is you have to tell me everything. Mm-hmm. You don't get the luxury of concealing things like you do from your spouse, because I got to know, because I don't want to be surprised.
No, this is interesting. So if they tell you, look, I've been having an affair for several years. My spouse, I don't think, knows about that. What do you do with that information?
Well, I tell them if you're going to get divorced, it's coming out. If you don't want to get divorced and you want to move down the road and see what you can do to conceal that or make your marriage better or stronger and get out of that, that's none of my business.
How do you know it's coming out? How do you know it's coming out, though?
Because I'm going to do discovery, right? So let's say, for instance, somebody comes into me and they say, you know what, I think my spouse is cheating on me and I want a divorce. So we go file the lawsuit, and I go ask for every single digital record they have, and they have to give it to me. If I don't have an investigator already, they're going to give me the digital record, and the digital record is a treasure trove of information about what you've done.
What are we talking? What is the digital record? What does that entail?
Your Facebook timeline, your Twitter timeline, your Instagram photos, your text messages.
And the other attorney has the right to get all that information?
Absolutely, yeah.
How is that? Why is that not private information?
No, it wouldn't be private information, and because it's part of the case. I mean, I don't know what privilege would attach to that. You can't come in and just say, I've got some privilege to it, especially if it relates to marital discord.
What about your spouse's? What about your spouse's email? Can a lawyer pull that then too?
Yes, you can ask for that.
That's incredible. I didn't know that. So then essentially you tell them, look, everything's coming out. So what if they didn't know that was going to happen? How do they react when you tell them that?
When I tell them that?
Yeah, when they thought they've been keeping a secret, and suddenly you're telling them, look, it's coming out now. What do they say?
I think most of them know that intuitively. Most of them know that, and they realize that they kind of gird themselves for battle there. The problem is, they don't really, where it really gets hairy is they don't really remember all of the things that they have posted over the last year and a half. So then when I say, well, let's print it and you and I'll go over it first, right?
That's got to be embarrassing.
It's ugly. It can be really ugly, And the other thing is, as you know, when it's the written word, you can't really give context to it. You give whatever context you want as the reader, right?
Right.
You don't know whether they said it sarcastically or whether they said it kidding or whether they're rolling their eyes when they said it.
Right.
So I can do that with whatever I want.
There can be intimate things, right? There are all kinds of innuendos written down. So once that data is out there, right, all that social media data is out there, does it actually come up in detail during the divorce? I mean, is it brought up and discussed in a way that's kind of really embarrassing?
Well, yes, and I'll give you a quick example. I've got a case going on that we've actually just settled, and I've got a spouse that wanted a lot of alimony or spousal support ongoing, right? And the reason for that was because she said she was disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got on there and realized that she was running 3 Twitter accounts, and she had tweeted 56,000 times over the course of 3 years. I mean, that's a professional Twitterer right there, and so it's hard to convince a judge or a jury that you're disabled and can't work or can't maintain employment when you Twitter more than CNN does.
Okay. Well, but that was none of it was inappropriate, or she wasn't necessarily having an affair on Twitter or anything? Or?
No, it was just the sheer volume.
Okay.
But there's plenty of inappropriate things as well you can find and bring up.
That sounds like a nightmare, Tim.
Yeah, I like it when I'm the one whose spouse is the innocent one, but I don't like it so much when my spouse is the one that's got a lot of things in it. Now, look, most cases are no-fault divorce. And so, and most states have no-fault divorce. So it shouldn't matter, but it always does.
Do you delve into social media knowing all this stuff, or?
Yeah, I do, but it's mostly business related. It's all, I've got a social media consultant who comes in and she'll post links to different articles and whatnot. It's really just for commercial purposes.
Yeah. Do you believe that spending too much time on social media, do you think it's a harmful thing for a marriage in itself?
I do, and I think it's like anything. I think it can be an addiction, and I think it can be an addiction to the detriment of your human contact and your inner relationship with your spouse. I mean, look, everyone talks about, it's so great and there are a lot of good aspects to it, right? I mean, it connects us with the broader world as a whole, but it doesn't really give us the human contact that we need. And I think we try to use it as a substitute for human contact, and it's inappropriate or an inadequate substitute.
Right. Well, some say it just opens up a world of fantasy,
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and that's and marriage is not a fantasy, is it, Tim? No.
Well, now wait a minute.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. No, you're right. It's not.
Look, it is good, but it's real, exactly, and it's real beats the fantasy. Tim Hoch, family law expert, attorney. Tim Hoch, HochLawFirm.com. Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Have a good day.
Hey, we're back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Join us then. Good night.